Are you ready? It's the Roundtable with me, Robert Bannon. Welcome to the Roundtable, everybody. You're listening to us on the Broadway Podcast Network. You're watching us on Broadway World or on social media. We are so excited. Nick was here. We did a Les Mis tour extravaganza, and Nick is still on the road with, like, I don't know, his poor vocal cords. It's like a 14-hour-long opera every night around the world. In my head, I picture him in a Greyhound bus with a duffel bag, literally trouncing through the middle of America, singing his face off for you. And then in his spare time, he just whips out an album, does shows at 54 Below, and the album is out. And he's singing some of the songs, 1,000 Spotlights, that you know, love, and need to hear his version. Nick, welcome back to the Roundtable. We're so happy you're here.
I am so glad to be back. Thank you for having me.
You are your voice is amazing. In my head, I sound like you, Nick. I have the falsetto. I have the belt. I have all of it.
I'm sure you do. I am sure you do.
No, I don't. I want to sing Bring Him Home like you, but I cannot. But
one of my favorite songs to sing.
Listen, I'm not being shady to the Les Mis family, but I know you all sell out whenever you come into town. And, you know, tickets are not cheap out here for a family or a couple. No. But you could hear Bring Him Home for $3.99. You can stream it now.
Right. That is right.
So tell me, when did the idea come for 1,000 Spotlights?
So, you know, it's funny. We Brian Eads, who was my music director for a very long time on Les Mis, he introduced me to the folks at CLUB44 Records. And we all started brainstorming. And originally, we were just going to put out an EP of like 6-7 songs that was all going to be Disney. Because Disney is such a huge part of my life. And it's, you know, I grew up going to the parks and I worked for Tokyo Disney. I met my wife while working for Disney. We just got off a Disney cruise like 2 weeks ago. Yeah. So, but then as we started talking, I do this travel day Q&A on my social media, just to keep in touch with my fans, and they can ask questions and all sorts of things. And everybody kept asking me, when are we going to hear your version of Bring 'Em Home? When is there going to be a recording? We can't buy anything of you singing at the merch stand. Like, when is that going to happen? So I was like, you know what? And so I started talking with them. I reached out to Claude Michel Schomburg and Alain Boublil, who wrote Les Mis. And I said, I would love to record this with your permission. And I got the green light across the board. And so we put it on the album, and it kind of changed the course of the album, where we added not only some Disney, but also some Broadway and some kind of like, we took Street Where You Live and we made it a bit more jazzy. And, you know, so it really is kind of like a love letter to, you know, where I've been in my career, where I am now, and where I want to go in the future.
Firstly, shout out to CLUB44 Records, because they put out great recordings. They're
amazing.
Amazing.
I'm so honored to be included in the catalog.
And Brian Eads is one of the most insane piano players, conductors, arrangers in history. I don't know how to explain him.
I am so lucky that the universe connected us on Les Mis, because that is now, he's a lifelong friend. He's like a brother to me. And to have his genius on this album, his orchestrations and his arrangements of Bring 'Em Home and Blue Skies and Music of the Night, that was all his envisioning of it. And I was just like, just run and have fun. And that's what he did.
He music directed a show for me in a week at 54 Below with no charts. He just sits, this key, that key, play this makes sense. He just is a mad scientist about it. It makes no sense whatsoever that he's able to do what he does. All right. So, Brian, and I went through the tropical rainforest in Puerto Rico with Brian, but that is a story for after this interview.
Or another day.
The track listing, there are songs that you know. So we can, so how did you come up with these, you know, A Dream is a Dream, Your Heart Makes, Disney?
Yeah.
But then it all fades away. Jason Robert Brown. So how did you come up with them?
You know, we started looking at songs that I love to sing, but also songs that like weave a story for me. And I, in my solo shows and when I perform, it's not, you're not just, I feel like people just don't want to hear you just sing, right? I want to be able to tell a story. And so that is what I feel like I'm doing in this album, right? So we open the album with Blue Skies, which was the last, I did an Irving Berlin review called I Love a Piano in Arizona right before I moved to New York City. And for me, I got to sing that song, Blue Skies, in that show. It was the first time that I had really heard that song, and I fell in love with it. And then it just became this song for any time that there was a big move in my life or a big step forward. It was a song that was associated with that, right? It was right before I moved to New York. It was in my first solo show at 54 Below, and now it's on my first album. And again, when we did my first solo show, Brian Eads was my music director, and he did that arrangement. And then he took it and he just enhanced it and made it that much better. So that's why that's on there. Dream is a Wish Your Heart Makes is just, it's my like Disney dream. You know what I mean? It's just, it's slow, it's jazzy, and it's what I would want people to put on like a rainy day, and just so they could hear just something just in the background, or they can just sit and listen to it and enjoy it. It All Fades Away. I love Jason Robert Brown. Who doesn't love Jason Robert Brown? And to get to hear, you know, that song, when I remember the first time that I heard that song, I got goosebumps up and down. And I was like, someday I'm going to sing that song. And so when this album, when we started looking at it, we needed another song. And I was like, that's what I want to put on there. That is it right there. Because it also reminds me of my wife and how, you know, she has done so much for me and my career, and, you know, to lift me up and to push me forward. And so, and if it all, like, it's crazy, but if it all fades away, it will just be her. And that is what is so important to me. You know, so I mean, I hope that folks walk away going, not only did we hear Bring Him Home and, you know, Music of the Night and some big Broadway stuff, but we heard some kind of like pared down intimate material, and stuff that is just fun to sing. And that's why, like, Why Should I Worry is on there. You know, it's that nostalgic hit to the senses that I absolutely love, right?
I'm going through the list and I'm like, oh, Blue Skies, Dream, Fades Away, Street. What? Why should I worry? And it hit me like, oh, Nick's got to be my age. Because once I saw it was from Oliver, I thought like Billy Joel.
Yes.
Why should I worry?
Yes.
There.
And see, and here's the other thing, right? Is that, and I posted this on my social media. I have, it's weird. I have all these like Les Mis connections in my life, right? But there's a Les Mis connection to that song, which let me take you back. I'm going to do like the quick Cliff Notes version, right? Alain Boublil wrote Les Mis, lyrics to Les Mis. He went and saw a revival of the production of Oliver on the West End. And as soon as he saw the character Artful Dodger, it reminded him of Gavroche from Les Misérables. And then he went and called Claude Michel and they wrote Les Misérables, right? So that's how like the musical was born, is him watching a stage version that was produced by Cameron Mackintosh. Cut to Oliver and Company is the Disney version of Oliver Twist, right? Sung by, and that song, Why Should I Worry, is sung by the character Dodger, who is the Artful Dodger from the book. So again, it all connects.
It all connects, and it is also a catchy.
It is bop. It's so fun. It's so fun. And so it was just like, it was one of those things that as soon as we were listening, we were trying to figure out, you know, something fun to put on the album. That was it. And I was like, that's the song. I remember going to see this in the theaters, and I remember, you know, watching this movie. So,
well, what I love about the album is that when you have the songs, like you said, you think Music of the Night and Bring Him Home, and even You'll Be in My Heart, like, which has become it's a Phil Collins and then Broadway and then big, beautiful song. But you gender bend a song like Never Enough. Lauren Allred, I mean, there's
down to her.
A vocal monster. So, and people, The Greatest Showman, I mean, I'm here standing in Newark, New Jersey, teaching musical theater at NJPAC, and these kids go bananas for The Greatest Showman. Like, it is a phenom. What was it like to get that arranged? Because that's a big old beast.
That is a big old beast. And again, that is all Brian Eads. I said, I feel like I want to do a gender bend song, and I feel like this is the one to do. right? It is big, it's catchy. And Brian's like, okay, with his Nashville twang, I got you. And he he walked away and he came back with that arrangement that not only do we have all the bells and whistles because it's with a full orchestra, but then he put a key change in that. And I was like, hold on, wait a minute. All right, great, wonderful. So not only is it, I feel like it pays homage to what was and what is on that film and what she recorded, but I think that then we've changed it just enough to make it kind of my own, which is what I love.
I, I I'm here. I'm here for it. I can't wait. The album is
Yeah.
streaming wherever music is heard. It's out. Well, this is we're taping this the week before we're airing this, so it's out this week, everybody.
It's
If
out,
you're
yes.
listening to this, look, all you need to know is July 26th. The album is
July
going
26th.
to.
That is
We can stream it wherever music is heard.
That is correct. Available on all digital streaming platforms. We're out there, and we've got 2 concerts coming up this weekend in Arizona to officially release the album. So that's really exciting. But yeah, I just hope that people enjoy it as much as I had so much fun making it.
So here's my question for you, Nick. You're on the
Yeah.
road. You're going to be with
Uh-huh.
Les Mis for this tour.
Yep.
How do you find, and I know you have to take care of, I mean, you are singing your face off for 3 hours every night. And I'm gonna have to remind my husband when I come see you in the I think it's the winter. I think it's
Yeah.
later
It's December. It's
in
December, I think,
Detroit
that you're coming.
that
Yeah.
we are not gonna sing your track the whole time. Because he's off book. So
Great.
I'm not being shady, but like when other shows come to town, he's like, you can go. But Les Mis, I got told that's date night booked. Set.
Great.
So when you're up there singing like that, your spare time, I know you want your own Nick Cartell moment, music and shows and whatever, but you have such a responsibility to do this show. So how do you marry the two together?
Well, it takes a lot of planning. It takes a lot of planning. So even just to record this album, I actually took a vacation week from the show, and I didn't tell anybody what I was doing. And I went to Nashville and recorded an album, and then went right back to the show the following week. And right now we're on a short little layoff from the tour. We've had this month off where it is lined up with a concert at 54 Below and the album release and 2 concerts at the end of the month before flying right back to tour at the end of July. And so it's a lot of planning and it's a lot of logistical, like working here and there. But I'm so happy to do it, and I'm just so thankful that I get to continue to portray Jean Valjean across the country, with, at this point, over 1,200 shows under my belt. Yeah.
Wow, that's insane.
It's a lot.
It's insane. Insane. So when people is one of the greatest things when you walk out of the stage door, I know when we talked about tour life, and when you guys were all here, it's really moving to me. Growing up in this area, we've taken theater. I take musical theater. I grew up in Jersey. So like, it's just well, everyone has access to this and they don't. So when your trucks and buses roll into town, they're craving this material. So when people meet you at the stage door and they ask for your work yourself, can I stream your songs? Can I listen to your music? There are people out there who are craving your work because your work stays with them. It may be the only show they see all year.
And I think that is what is so important to me also, right? Like, and I think that is the thing that keeps me grounded in this show and keeps it fresh for me. Everybody asks me all the time, like, how do you do it over 1,200? I'm like, not only do I get to sing a beautiful show every night, the material is so rich and this character is so deep, but it's the audiences. They change every night and how they react to something. Or, I love when audience members go, I caught this one little look that you gave to Cosette, and I just loved it. And that makes me go, great, then I've done my job, because then you are actually invested in every little single part of the story. And like you said, to have, The Greatest Showman, which was a musical movie that brought theater to communities that normally don't get that, there's a responsibility that we as artists that are out there that are touring with shows like Les Mis or any show, we have a responsibility to make sure that we're bringing the best product that we can, because you don't know who the next Tony Award winning artist is that is sitting out there in that audience.
Literally from around the world.
Yeah.
Well, I know that there are producers out there and directors and playwrights and that are saying, we have a big giant monster show like Phantom, like Jesus Christ Superstar, like Les Mis, and we need to call Nick, because Nick, you're you are literally, when you think of the shows that have these male sounding voices, giant, you've done them all. So do you have a routine? Do you have a, like, do you just, have you sold your soul? Like, what's the trick?
I have not sold my soul, but it is a routine. Like, I honestly, being in a show like Les Mis and singing a role like Jean Valjean, I live like a monk. I really do. Like, it is like down to like, get up, glass of water, steam, cup of coffee, eat a little breakfast, go to the gym, come back, you know, and so that's like warming up over the course of the day. A lot of people ask me, they're like, but you just work 3 hours a night. And I'm like, no, it's not just 3 hours a night. I'm like, for me, it is, I am up and moving and getting my body warmed up, and I'm warming up for 6 hours before that 3-hour show at night, just to be sure that my voice is ready to go to do the vocal gymnastics that I have to do at night. But then on top of that, I also have a 4-year-old daughter, and she's on the road with me with my wife. And so it's playing with her, and it's, you know, that I think is also important because it keeps me grounded. So I'm not like, I'm Jean Valjean. No, I'm dad in the morning, you know, and I get up and she's like, Daddy, get up and make me breakfast. I want some, please. I want some pancakes and some apples. And I'm like, all right, well, great. I stole a loaf of bread last night, but this morning I got to get up and I got to make pancakes. You know,
I care about you being Jean Valjean for 3,000 people a night. She wants her breakfast.
Does not care. And honestly, I'm better for it. I'm better for it.
Your album, a lot of the through line, I'm just assuming, is a lot of love. There's a lot of songs about love. There's a lot of songs about community, family, even songs like Why Should I Worry? I mean, like that, like there's lines through it that that talk about, and you take Never Enough, which may be one of the most beautiful love songs, or you take It All Fades Away, one of the most beautiful love songs. For you to do what you do, you have a support system. You have your wife and your support system around you.
100%. And I could not do this life, this career, this job, this album without them and their support. And so it is fun that my wife and daughter are on Why Should I Worry? They actually have a little line in Why Should I Worry? And y'all should listen just right at the end of You'll Be in My Heart, because my daughter comes in and makes a little cameo at the end of that too. And so that's really special.
Well, we're going to follow you on all the social media. We're going to stream the album. Come on, you better stream the album wherever the album is out the 26th. And
26th.
And we're going to see you on the road. I hope people, you know, talk about the album. Go find him at the stage, or tell him your favorite track.
Please. And if you get a physical copy, I will sign it for you, or I'll sign your phone if it's a digital copy. I'm kidding.
Perfect. Are there physical copies available? They'll be available to buy.
Yes, there are physical copies available to buy. I don't know exactly where they're going to be, so we will make sure we get that information to you, put it in the comments or something like that. But there are physical copies that you will be able to purchase if you still own a CD player. You can actually have a physical copy of the CD.
And it's also great, like he said, like you get a signed copy. It's just a great memento. It's a great souvenir of your experience. Great. Nick, be on the road, have amazing shows. I can't wait to see you this winter. We'll be streaming the album. We'll be listening, and we'll be looking for in your breaks when you pop back to New York or pop back to West Coast or wherever you got a little concert moment
here and there. I will always post everything on my social media, so follow me there. You'll be up to date on everything that's going on.
You're such a pleasure. You're so damn good, and you're a sweetheart. And we root and love you here. Thank you for spending time with us. Congratulations.
Thank you so much again for having me today. This has been a blast.